Hey everybody, Nerdy Transformed here again, and today I'm reviewing, well, this is basically the classic Rodimus mold redone in G1 colors, and to be honest, I bought this with Reprolabels already attached, so I'm not sure which version it is. It's either the Universe Challenge at Cybertron 3-pack Rodimus, or the 2010 Battle in Space Rodimus. Now, from what I understand, the only real difference between those two figures were what packs they came in. Challenge at Cybertron having both a Cyclonus and a Galvatron, while the Battle in Space version only had a Cyclonus but had a Matrix that came with it instead. And as far as the figures themselves go, the only difference was one had on the chest or the front here, the flames were a bit more contrasted from the orange behind them, and the one of them had a rub sign instead of an Abba decal. And like I said, I bought this with Reprolabels already attached, including the front part here, and the only way to check would be to rip this off, and I'd rather not do that. So, unfortunately, I'm not sure which one it is, but it is that version. It is that Classics repaint, that the Classics mold repainted into G1 colors, with some Reprolabels attached to it. So I have reviewed this mold before, the original Classics version. And I gotta say, I do like these colors a lot better. They're a lot more G1-esque. They're a lot more Rodimus-y. Although I still don't get what's with this bright red that Rodimus has been associated with lately. He's just always this bright red when, honestly, the original character was orange and magenta. Like, yeah, they're red-ish, but they were not bright red like this is. He's kind of been getting Optimus, like, colors thrown on him lately. Like, yeah, he still has the yellow and the gray and the black, but he just has this bright red for no reason. I'm not sure why. Like, the original toy had a little bit of red, but I don't know, I guess it's supposed to be a G1 throwback, G1 toy throwback, but I honestly don't get it. And for the longest time, this has been the Rodimus you have to go with if you want any kind of Classics or Generations version of Rodimus. Even up to Combiner Wars, we only got another Legends figure. Only recently, with Titans Return, did we actually get a new Rodimus you can put into your collection with the Deluxe, and now we're getting that Leader class. And I gotta say, compared to those two, or at least what we can see of the Leader class, this one feels really, really out of date. We'll get mainly in robot mode. His vehicle mode here, though, is amazing. This is still probably the best Rodimus vehicle mode we have. It definitely screams Rodimus. This is definitely very much what everything Rodimus should be. And honestly, if I am going to keep this figure once I get the Leader class, I'm probably going to keep it in this vehicle mode, because I do like this quite a bit. And for comparison, here he is next to the Platinum Edition RC and the Henkei Cyclonus, or Henkai, whichever you prefer, the Takara Cyclonus. And you can kind of see just, yeah, pretty good sized Deluxe. And I feel like this is appropriate since both versions of this figure came with a Cyclonus. I don't have either version of that Cyclonus, I only have the Rodimus, but here he is with a Cyclonus. And as far as the paint apps, or, well, what we can see of them, he actually does have some pretty good ones. The wheels in the middle are a lighter gray than the out parts of the wheels. The wheels are not black, they're a slightly darker than black gray. And that's pretty nice. You do get some silver on the piping. You do get some nice blue for the windows. You get some silver for the engine. And as far as the Reprolabels go, they add quite a bit. They add the flames along the sides here, as well as right here, right behind the wheel. It extends the flames out from the chest to make it wider, and as well as covering over the headlights. They do add little yellow panels to the side of the spoiler, although one mine peeled off. I don't know where it went. I am missing a couple of stickers, mainly just one of these, and I'm missing the crotch plates, one of the crotch plate stickers. So, and you do still have the gun sticking out the back, which does still have the missile. So if you're getting this figure secondhand, make sure it comes with that missile. You can see it comes out, little flame, painted all blue instead of clear, like the original, I believe. I believe the original was clear. I don't know, I haven't messed with that one in a while. But yeah, that's his vehicle mode with the Reprolabels, and I do like this one quite a bit more. I do think I gave the original a pass. I do like the original Classics one, but this one is just much better. If you're going to get a version in small, I have to say go for the Challenge at Cybertron Battle in Space version, whichever one you can find. Preferably the Battle in Space, because honestly that Galvatron's not worth getting. Plus, you know, Matrix. But yeah, this is a really cool Rodimus. So, down the transformation, so you see his robot mode, which is where I have a lot more problems with this figure. Go ahead and come to the back and just split it away from the spoiler. Fold it forward. Go ahead and rotate these little side pieces of the spoiler. Oh yeah, this piece does have a tendency to pop off. I haven't had it happen on this version of the figure, but on the original mold, this popped off all the time. Fold that forward, you could probably call that some kind of attack mode, you know. I mean, it's a flamethrower pointing forward. Oh, my spring does not work on my gun, so don't know what's going on there. Come to the back here, fold the feet out, and you're going to want to just grab the tip because it leaves the heels out. Giving some nice big bulky feet. Go ahead and take these panels, detach them and bring them on down. But before you fold them out all the way, come to these little slides here and try to push them however you can to slide out the wheels and fold the panel down. Slide. Oh. It can be really tricky to get going. These are really, really tight on mine. It. There we go. Sorry, sometimes it's hard to do in front of the camera, but yeah, just slide out the wheels. Sometimes you have to grab by the wheel. Fold the panel down. Go ahead and pop the leg out like that, unpop it from the little clip. Bring them on down. And right here is where I'm missing one of my Reprolabels. There is supposed to be like a little brown piece right here going over this, and it kind of just fell off. Could not get the stick back on. You're going to slide this piece forward. Straighten the legs. Go ahead and pop these little side panels here outward. Kind of getting this weird samurai vibe. Come to here, grab right here, and pull that to extend out the arms. Flip them up. Use the double hinge to flip this whole front down, which will also reveal the head, and it'll click in place. Come to the back here, rotate the backpack around to give him his classic fins. Come to the front here, flip out the little hands. If they want to flip out, this one's weirdly tight. There we go. It's like everything on this side's like really tight compared to this side. Not that this side's loose, but just tighter on the other side for some reason. And there we have our, I guess, Universe or 2010 Rodimus in his robot mode. Robot mode. There we go. Now I can talk. Now we got him in robot mode. Let's go ahead and get comparisons out of the way. Here he's next to the Platinum Edition or Generations RC if you prefer. And you can see that's about the right height for RCB next to Hot Rod. And here he's next to Cyclonus since he does come with one in both packs. And Cyclonus is a bit taller, but it's also due to his more lanky proportions. And I do think this looks pretty good altogether. Let's get these two out of the way. Although those two do both have something I feel like this figure is missing. That's a certain smoothness and cohesiveness to his character. As this was the original Classics mold, Classics molds can be really, really flawed by today's standards. Some of them just do not hold up, unfortunately. And this is one of the ones that I don't think really holds up that well. Like, the original Seeker mold, honestly, if it had an arm swivel, it would still be an arm swivel and maybe some ankle tilt, it would still be a great figure. And it still pretty much is today just from how it looks. This figure, articulation's a little meh, and let's be honest, it doesn't look that good by today's standards anymore. Like, he has these weird lanky arms that look really scrawny, especially with a wheel indented in it. I mean, if you ignore the wheel, he actually has extremely scrawny arms. And on top of that, then he has down here, he has big bulky legs, which look good, but then it's like, okay, which one is it? I mean, this is it the opposite of skipping leg day? Is the skip arm day? He just looks odd. It doesn't work together, I don't think. Especially with like really tiny little hands, like just really tiny little hands compared to big bulky feet, big bulky legs. Not even just width of them, just even from the front, they're a lot bulkier. I get this is down transformation, but it is very odd. It also makes his head look very small, especially like compared to ones like if we bring Cyclonus back in. Sure, his face is a little small, but he does still have the big helmet. Or like RC here, who also has a bigger head than Rodimus, even though they're supposed to, I think their heads were actually about the same size in the movie. So it just comes off looking very odd. You can see the sticker. I will mention that the stickers do help with his details a lot. It adds some more detail to his legs here, as on both here and up here at the top of the hips. They don't add anything to the bottom of the legs, but this is basically a G1 cartoon accurate with the gray here. They do add some of the toy stickers up here, and of course the big chest plate. And now let's talk about that head sculpt. This I don't feel like this ever made a good hot rod. It does make a decent Rodimus, but I don't think it's ever made a good hot rod. Mainly because of that head sculpt. He just looks too serious. This is not hot rod, this is Rodimus, for sure. Hence why he was always packed in with Cyclonus and Galvatron. Especially that one that comes with the Matrix. But another weird thing is that he kind of homages the Energon Rodimus because he has the little fins on his head. No other Rodimus, I don't think at least up to that point, had the fins on the head besides the Energon one. And it's just very strange. It's very strange for being a G1 homage. It also has an homage to Energon Rodimus. And for some reason, it kind of kept this going. If they just painted the same color, I wouldn't mind as much, but they always stuck out. And I just never liked it. It just doesn't seem Rodimus to me. And that brings back the whole thing about the red, too, because, like, this is supposed to be G1 homage, because here we have the gray on the legs, the orange, you know, everything that, the colors that kind of match Rodimus, even has the pipes, little set of pipes coming out. But then he has the red, which just isn't Rodimus. It was supposed to be a magenta. I wouldn't mind if it was a lighter red, or not quite lighter, but I wish it wasn't such a flamboyant, bright red. Like, this is the kind of red Optimus should be using, not Rodimus. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention he does have this little gimmick where you can flip this piece out, and he has the little slicer thing he had in the movie that used to cut those tentacles off of him and Cup. So he does have that, and there is a little Reprolabel sticker to kind of give it some silver look. It's there. It doesn't really affect it. I don't really care much for it, because especially since it is kind of small. I wish they just gave him a separate accessory to put over his hand. But it is a nice little homage that they did throw in, and I mean, it is there. It doesn't look bad. But I personally just kind of keep it folded away. So yeah, no, I'm a little all over the place, but this figure is a little all over the place for me. He's just very oddly built. And that also comes down to the articulation. He does have a head swivel. His arms are ball jointed, but they're kind of that other way ball joint. And that's another thing. This figure suffers from mold degradation. It's loose, very loose. But it's one of those reverse ball joints where the ball joint is attached to the arm, so you do get some outward movement, but it's not quite as good as it could be, and it does like to pop out of the joint instead. But you do get full swivel, or not swivel, full rotation. No arm swivel, because this is a classic mold. The arm swivels are kind of rare. So no swivel, but you do get a 90-degree elbow. Enough at the hands other than the inward transformation. Is there a waist swivel? I don't think there is. No, doesn't feel like there's a waist swivel. So no waist swivel. You do get forward movements, but it kind of uses the whole hip instead of having like a panel. The whole hip moves forward, so those stickers might get messed up from doing that. You do get outward movement, and there goes the arm again. You do get outward movements, but it's kind of weird to do how the transformation works, but you can get going outward like here. It does have these weird little samurai armor panels. I mean, I get there was nowhere else to really put these pieces of kibble, but it feels weird just to have them splayed out. I don't know. It's like the sticks are all over the place. You do get a knee bend, and then you do get a swivel below the knee, which, I mean, I guess you could still use it to at least give his feet spread out. Which doesn't look bad, especially for how big his feet are. But yeah, like I said, the aesthetics and proportions are just all over the place, and if you like this figure, there is nothing wrong with that. I'm glad you enjoy this figure. I'm glad somebody likes this figure. I'm glad this figure is for somebody out there. It's just not for me. It's a weird aesthetic thing. I'm usually all for weird aesthetics. I mean, I love the Bayformer design sometimes. You're talking to somebody who likes Revenge of the Fallen Mixmaster. But something about this just does not work quite as it should. I don't hate this figure. I honestly don't. I'm just confused by it. It feels like one of those things where, let's see. Feels like some of those art designs we've gotten around the 2009, 2008 era where we got like mixed designs because both movie and classics were kind of fighting with each other for dominance. And we just got some really weird and oddball designs out of it. This kind of fits in there with me where it's just so odd. Like, we got the bulkiness down here, then we got the scrawniness up here, then we have the little samurai motif kind of go down here, which doesn't really bother me that much. You know, there goes the arm again. That does bother me, these loose arms. I can fix it with nail polish, but it's just, that is so loose. It doesn't have a center, and it still doesn't say Rodimus to me just because it's not really Rodimus to me. I mean, it could work for Rodimus, I guess, but He honestly does need the arm. If you're going to get this figure, I would say also get the armor upgrade that comes from the third party, the protector armor. That really does help him out a lot, although that protector armor is kind of meant to be colored closer to the classics mold rather than this version. If he just had some arm swivels and his arms were bulked out a bit more, I would like this figure so much more. And I wish he had a better head sculpt and a bit bigger of one too. I get it has to be small enough to fit in here, but it just could really use with some proportion fixing. Most of the time proportions don't bug me, but for some reason a deluxe size like this, it kind of bugs me. Oh yeah, we've heard how the gun ends up, it could become a jetpack, or you could take it off and give him as his gun. So there's that, and it does look fine. I kind of like having a weapon that can look like it's in the middle of an action pose. And if you don't want it to look like it's shooting, you can just take it away. Kind of the problem RID Strongharm had, where she couldn't really ever look like she's not shooting. So that's pretty cool. I kind of like just leaving him on the back and keeping him as a jetpack. But yeah, that's the whichever version of this Battle in Space Challenge at Cybertron, whichever version we want to call it with the Reprolabels. The Reprolabels help out a lot. Without them, this figure does not look nearly as good for me. And to be honest, as it is, I'm not sure if I can recommend this figure or not. I recommend it to Rodimus and Hot Rod enthusiasts. You definitely should have at least one version of this figure, whether it's the classics or the colors like this version. For others, well, if you don't want the Titans Return one, if you want the fins to be more spread out and you don't want him to be leader class, this is basically your only other choice. And he's not bad, he really isn't. Just be warned of his aesthetics, just because he is a bit of an oddball. So, this has been Nerdy Transformed. I hope you enjoyed this review, and hope you have a good day. Take care.